Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on our YouTube account, and that is right, the Temporal Rift is back for the 90-day iteration. Now overall with the Temporal Rift, there's a couple different ways to approach this before we get into and really break down the guide. Now looking at the Fountain of Time, this is where you want to collect all of your resources every single day. This is what is going to build up when it comes to your Temporal Beacon. Now Temporal Beacon, there's a multitude of these that you actually unlock as you're making more progression. For players, for free to play, for really pay to win. Trade Enhancer is what you want to focus on. So Trade Enhancer, you want this max out in its entirety every single day. This is it. When you look at other things, if you're pay to win, if you're putting money into the game, you will actually have the ability to get some extra stuff out of here. But overall, Trade Enhancer is going to be the focus in its entirety when you're going through here and making progression. Now, of course, this is going to give you a lot of different rewards that are in here. You can also buy stuff out of the shop, again, based on your progression. Big thing out of here for all the players, exchange is right here. It is the time emblems. When you're looking at these, this gives you the ability to get those awakened heroes. Even looking at everything else that's in here, starting to look at the heroes, looking at Eugene, we get them out of the shop. That's where you want to get Eugene. Don't bother wasting your time in here. Brutus, and also looking at the awakened version of Athalia, or excuse me, Taline, the awakened version of Taline, even looking at the awakened version of Aziz. None of those heroes are used. If there is anyone that is really worth getting in here, could be the awakened version of Solus. But again, if you don't plan to use her, if you don't have her built, I wouldn't get her at this point because one copy, not going to make a big difference. And of course, you do need them ascended with the 1-star to be effective in the game mode. So I would get our time emblems out of here. And then also the Stargazer Scrolls when you're going through here. Now, in addition, with the Temporal Rift itself, when you're getting in here, you can actually go in, you'll configure all of your heroes, which we'll look at in just a minute. But there is also rewards for the floors that you're going through and completing. This is a game mode you have to focus on, and you really do have to push if you want to make progression within the Temporal Rift. Again, basically, it's pretty easy to go in with the teams. We're going to show them in just a minute, so let me hop over and we'll break down those teams. All right, guys, so here is the guide. Now, this has not been updated to include some of the new heroes, but overall, looking at this, I know it's a couple months old on the old version that we were running within the Temporal Rift. Big shout out to the AFK guides for this, and I know we covered it months and months ago, but it does get kind of lost in translation. But honestly, with the Temporal Rift, not really much changes. I mean, since this came out, they made some adjustments, some changes. Even some of the heroes in here, you'll see not a massive amount of changes. So I wanted to run through here. And a lot of players were saying they want to see some free-to-play friendly teams. This is a guide that you can build your own. So looking at team number 1, the awakened version of Belinda. And of course, Belinda is a very high priority hero. If you're looking at free-to-play, Belinda, the awakened version of Athalia, Shamira, a couple of those heroes, absolutely a very big priority to build. Now you'll notice right off the bat though, awakened version of Belinda, if you do not have that awakened version, you're going to go with a different team comp. You're going to change it up. You could put Scarlet in here. Scarlet would actually work in the very same capacity. And then, of course, looking at Eugene, you could do Palmer in here, which would work very well. But looking at the substitutes down here, you can see there's a ton of them. Even when you think as a newer player, but looking at heroes like Guineas, looking at Rowan down there, looking at Rain, looking at Rosaline, there's a lot of heroes in here that are pretty high priority heroes. Even looking at Ivan, if you don't have Lavatune, a lot of different ones in here. Now you'll notice also right here, it is the Rock Lizard that they have as a pet. That is huge. And of course, if you don't have the Rock Lizard or built up higher with Ice Crown, you can go ahead and do the Ice Crown. And then, of course, it does show you the selected badges that go with this, depending on the team that you're building within here. And again, this does make a big difference. Second team, we look at the Awakened, Ulna Rem combination with the Awakened version of Leica. For a lot of players, again, if you don't have that Awakened version of Leica, if you don't have Athalia in here, you can see there is a multitude of swaps. A lot of players do run Naruko in here, which works very well. So it is very dependent on the heroes you have and the heroes that you're running in formation. Ulna is still a pretty high priority, does work very well in PvP, also does work in this game mode pretty well. And even thinking now, current day, when you look at some of it, like Misha, the new Wilder, she's going to go in here pretty well. Even looking at Lan, if you happen to build out Lan, it's going to be the exact same. Lan will do very well in these formations as a substitute to the support, because even when you start running down a lot of these, so we have Silas in here, you have Merlin, you have Ivan, you have Demia, you have Shuna, you have all of support heroes, which are somewhat interchangeable. especially in the game mode where you do get a lot of those a lot of the relics behind it, a lot of the badges behind it. You get quite a few buffs out of what you're building with Trait Enhancer. Makes a really big difference. But again, if you are running a primary team, you can see the exact team that you want to with Al Narem. And it is a very, very strong combination. Even when you put Trait Enhancer, again, behind it, it makes a big difference. Team number 3 is the Awakened version of Shamira. Again, if you don't have no Awakened version of Shamira, you can use Matria. This is actually running almost in entirety, running the Hypo team. But overall, you can even see Hildwyn you should have at this point because Hildwyn was free. If you don't have Braun, we have Eugene in here. Again, Eugene was another hero that we did get a multitude of copies for free. If you don't have Lady Simona, before Lady Simona was here, we actually ran a Robin Hood in here. Before that, it was actually running Mulan, which is kind of crazy. Then, of course, Villanelle. Shuna, as you can see, support hero as another hero in here, does incredibly well in a bunch of different game modes. Lucille and Liberta together. And of course, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. But looking at this, overall, if you don't have Lucilla, now comes to Liberta. Liberta is the one, of course, you build. That is still the #1 priority in AFK Arena. But you can see we have a Theo. We also do have Tamris in here. We have Amatria in here. A lot of different combinations. And if you actually don't have any of them, you can also see that Oden is being used in here in the same capacity. Even looking down here, you can see Gwen is in here. A lot of SP heroes. But even looking a little bit further, we have Mulan, which again, you can get for free out of the store. Does work very, very well. And overall, the team works super well. Looking at the badges right there, I believe that is Meteorite. Forgive me, I don't remember the names of them. Then we do have the Owl. And then, of course, with the Shroom Spooter and with Ice Crown. But I believe this is the Meteor that they do have in here for the badge. So again, picking out the badges and really leveling up the badges do make a big difference in this game mode. Going on to team number 5, this is the Summoners. I like how this one builds, and I actually used this one last time when this guide came out. But looking at Aethys, you have crowd control, you have a solid tank. Naruko really does everything as the tiny tank, but you have summons when it comes to Naruko. You also have summons when it comes to that awakened version of Solus. And then, of course, Trishia does a lot of damage, and Villanelle really does fit the bill in a bunch of different places. But even if you don't have some of these heroes, the old school combination was right here with Neve. That is one that we ran long before we did have Villanelle in formations. And again, looking at a couple of the newer heroes could definitely fill in. I mean, even thinking of Raul, thinking of, a couple different support heroes could definitely fill the bill in a couple different places. If you don't have Trishia, you can see a Star is in there. And we also do have right back here with Scarlet. Again, works super well. And if you don't have the super crowd control or the amazing tank that we see with Aethys, both Mishka and Kanisa and Rook will fit the bill. Now, of course, there is a few. Use this team against the Swamp Corruptor to avoid the hero death. Here is the team, guys, that they're saying to go ahead and run because of the ability to use this team, and it does work very, very well. When it comes to the Swamp Corruptor, and of course, we are seeing the same bosses in here. Now, the bonus team, this is the Seal team. Now, for a lot of players, again, Seal team works incredibly well. It is a lot more of the stall, but it is based on having that Slumbering Seal and really building it up and having the ability to keep these heroes alive. A lot of them, of course, crowd control. A lot of them have immunities, even looking like Taylene in there. Once Taylene dies, she will come back to life. But thinking even bigger picture than this, thinking of Thorin, Kelthar, a couple other heroes in there that will do incredibly well. So the beacons, like we said, Trait Enhancer is going to be the absolute priority. You can put a point in Lightning Duel if the battles are taking too long, if you're not doing enough damage. And of course, if your stability loss is going in there, Noble Legacy will be one. Not a priority, not needed at all. I did not do anything except Trait Enhancer last time. And then, of course, specifically, if you are newer to the game mode, could be worth popping a point in one of these faction-specific buffs that we do have in here. Now, the changes with the other tips, if you're missing a hero, you can do the Beckoning Place. This is going to give you a hero that you might not have that you can actually fill in a couple different places. And last time we did get some Awakened heroes out of here. So it is really, really cool. And of course, you can reach floor 300 in a single run while using the heroes you obtain from the Beckoning Place. You are going to have that hero in the Divine Seals. I let it auto pick. Seals can be ignored, but pay attention to them if you're struggling to try to push past floor 300. And also remember, you have 90 days in this game mode, guys. there's going to be a lot of time to build up that trade enhancer. There's going to be a lot of time to build up everything that we do have in AFK Arena. So definitely wanted to revisit and share this guide with you from the AFK guys. Really, really important that you are building out this, because when it comes to the Temporal Rift, there is a crazy amount of resources and loot that does come in this game mode. So all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.